family? How's everybody?
Everybody's good. Hang on, let me turn this phone off. Make sure that doesn't ring.
Yeah, well, if it did, it might be Star Vista wanting that sweatshirt back.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
Did you take it back?
We are giving it back. Yes, I usually wear, if you see me on the show, I usually wear starched pants and starched shirt and look pretty squared away.
Yes, you do.
And I left all my squared away starched shirts at home. So we started campaigning Les and I, just asking everybody, do you have a long sleeve shirt I can wear? Do you have a long sleeve shirt I can wear? So we asked the Star Vista people, who one of the ones that brought y'all on here, they're wearing the red shirts. That's how you know. And I said, they said, you want a short sleeve, long sleeve? I said, I don't care, just need something. And so I wore it during the show. And when they gave it to me, they said, we're going to need to get that back. And I'll be damned if they didn't want it back. So I'm giving it back.
Well, in their defense, it is a little chilly out there today.
It was.
I mean, that could have been that kind person's only long sleeve shirt that they brought, Neal.
It could have been, but I don't think so.
I tried to help him out of the hole. You heard that, right? I tried to dig him out. Well, we were talking because it was chilly today. Who got off the ship today?
Yeah.
I did. You did? What'd y'all do? What'd y'all do today?
We went to see the pigs.
Oh, swimming with the pigs.
Yeah, supposedly swim with the pigs. But it was so cold that we just didn't, nobody really wanted to get in the water, so we stood in the water. They wanted us to stand in the water. I think because if a pig goes crazy, they can't just like kill you if you're in the water. I mean, they can chew on you and maim you a little bit, but if once they get you on land, they can just take you completely out. So I think that's what that's for. It's kind of a security thing. Stand in the water.
Oh, Lord.
And then they give you something to feed the pigs with, like a long stick poker thing, and they give you a bowl of.
What do they eat?
Well, these pigs ate hot dogs.
Hot dogs.
And pineapples or apples.
Apples and hot dogs.
That's right. You were there. He was with us.
You didn't get hurt or anything, did you? Okay. Good.
He stayed in the water.
He stayed in the water.
But it was fun. I would suggest it to anybody. It would be a lot more fun, I think, if you actually were swimming with them. Yeah, because I have no doubt they would swim because they starve them to death. So when they do let them out, they're going to eat everything, anything, shoes, towels laying out. It's just my take on it. I don't know if it's true.
Now, do they dog paddle? Did you see them swim?
No, they never got deep enough because there were no people they could chase deep enough.
Well, my friend and I brought my friend. Her name is Karen. She's in here somewhere.
The librarian.
Yes, she's a librarian in our school systems down in Nashville. My husband's working, her husband's working. So we just started walking. I think we had every layer of clothing on that we could.
Man, it was cold.
It was cold.
Too cold to be in the sun, really, trying to get sun.
Well, we found this beach that it's called Junkadoo. Is that what it was?
Junkanoo.
It was beautiful, but it was cold. I mean, we just sat there on the towels and a long sleeve. I had a long sleeve shirt you could have worn. It had pretty little flamingos on it.
I would have worn it.
It was pretty.
Hey, you know how you can just speaking of flamingos, you know how you can tell when a bunch of flamingos have moved into your neighborhood?
No.
There's a bunch of pink Mexicans in the yard. You can use it. If you're a Mexican, it's just, we're having fun. It's just a joke. Nothing.
It's just joking, I know.
Nothing against Mexicans.
What do you take away? Like a show last night, so I only saw the first 2 songs of your 6:30 because I was hungry and I needed to go.
I don't blame you.
And I am underweight, as you can really tell. And so what did you take away from the second show? Because we sat and watched the second show, and I'm being dead serious, and I said this about you before you came out. Your entertaining skills and hands down, am I right? I don't.
All right.
I was sitting in my room today, and I was thinking, how do you put that all together, and how long has it taken you? Because it seems like you've always been that great. No, but how long has it taken you to be that great of an entertainer?
Well, I appreciate it. It comes I'm going to say fairly easy to me. The part about being nervous and all that, I don't have any of that. I have anxiousness because I want to
Excitement.
start the show, I want to be. I'd like to start the show in the middle of a show because, or even in the first third of a show, because sometimes the toughest part is when you start a show,
Right.
because you don't ever know whether to come out and hit them hard like everybody thinks they have to do,
Right.
or walk out and sing something a cappella and just ease them into it. So it really depends on your audience. But about a third of the show, we pretty much have them, and they have us where we all want to be. Everybody has let all their guard down. I've already let them know that this could be a goofy show. It's probably going to be a little goofy. We're probably going to offend some people. But as a rule, we're just trying to have fun. So I always want to start. I would like to start each show about a third in, to where when they come in, they're already into it. They know. So, but I learned it. Charlie Pride.
I was about to say, did you learn that from Charlie?
Well, he claims I did. That was it. He always, every time once we'd worked together after I'd been with him for a few years, he'd always say, I taught him everything I know. He got all those moves. Everything he does, he got from me. But Charlie, I got started with Charlie in 1981 by winning a contest, and he gave me the opportunity to go open shows with him all over the world for about a 20-minute show. His band played the music that I wanted to play, and it was just cover stuff, a lot of George Strait and Millsap and that kind of stuff. But that's where I learned to not be scared of anybody, and to just let people and I love this room because this is how I'd love to do every show, and that's how I try to look at every show, even if there's this many people, or if there's 1,000 or 10,000 or 20,000. I want to open my arms to bring them in within the show, no matter how many people there are. So at the end, when they leave, they'll feel like they're leaving a friend's house. Like, oh man, it's good seeing him. So where you're not expected to. It's pretty simple. So, we know a lot of people. I don't know if I answered your original
Yes, you
question.
did.
I don't think
Yes,
I
you
did.
did.
What was the original question?
The original question was, where did you learn?
Oh, I
to
just stole
perform?
that. Yeah, you don't need to
just
ask
did
it again. Oh, Netflix.
Oh,
Never mind. I just saw the phone.
Oh, okay. Well, you should teach that. You should teach. This is just me talking, but you should teach run a class on how to put together a show.
Did you ever know Kyle Lenning?
No, Cal Lanning from
Nashville,
record producer.
producer,
Yes.
Kyle was at Asylum, and I was at Atlantic, and he came to me one day, and he'd come out and seen us, and he said, I tell every artist that I sign at Asylum, and he said it ought to be mandatory that if you have a new artist,
Right.
they ought to all have to come out with you for about 2 or 3 weeks on the bus and just be with you and see how it's should be done. And that's not a bragging point. It comes easy to me. But to do that, to entertain everybody and to want everybody to like you, you have to understand they're not all going to like you.
Right.
But I always say if they don't, it's not going to be my fault.
Right.
So that's pretty easy. So but I did that. I still want to give a class. I know I've talked about it before. I still want to give a mentors class to where I bring young people, young artists, new artists, medium artists, some older artists, and just work with them for about a week or two, and just in talking, in listening. I know I'm talking over you a lot, but I really do listen a lot too, and that's as big as anything. But yeah, I'd love to work with people, but just as long as some people aren't capable of doing exactly what we do.
You have an innate personality. Well, you have a personality. A lot of people don't have great. They're shy. They're withdrawn.
And some of them are jerks. They are. They're all about themselves. They could care less about you when they're performing. And that's not. I'm not going to name any. There's a couple. There's some on the ship, but. Okay, now tell them. We talked about it. Tell them what you thought.
I didn't say anything. You're just wrong, and I love you to pieces. Oh, my God. But wouldn't that be, you could help the future of country music. To really extend, and because to me, it's all about seeing somebody in person. Because on a record, you can manipulate that. You know, on a photo, you can manipulate that, but you can't fool an audience.
No, you can't. And some people, from an entertainment standpoint, don't even really, they're so out of touch that they don't even want to work hard enough to try to figure it out. They're going to go out, they have a set list, they're going to do their show, and if it's for their fans that have come to see them, then that usually suffices. It gets by pretty good. The people get to hear the songs they want. But if you have to go to an audience where we do some conventions or we'll do something where some people, sometimes half the people have never even heard of Neal McCoy. So that's the toughest thing. But by the time you're into it, by the 40 minutes into every show, I've already done a disco thing and a few Neal McCoy songs and an old country standard or a big band song, to where you just do something to, by 45 minutes in the show, you have got them. They have paid attention to you, and they've given you a chance to find out who you're about. And if you hit them with a little bit of everything, then you have now garnered everybody's attention at least, and then it's up to you. They're listening to you. Okay, now what are you going to do with them? And then you just, and once you get them, it's not a conceited thing. It's just, we know as an artist, we know when we feel that you are now in a room, we're all in a room, and we're all here for the same reason. Y'all, it's to listen to y'all, to listen to me, and for y'all to have fun doing it. So you just keep working it until you get, and then once you get them, they're very kind. But some of them, I understand, some of you are here for other artists.
Right.
You came on the cruise for some of the other artists because you're big fans of theirs.
Right.
So it's up to me to make you, or ask you, or involve you enough to become a Neal McCoy fan also. Now, I'm not trying to steal you from the people you like, but as live shows, I often said I make my living one show at a time, and that is how I gain fans, is one show at a time. If we get somebody new to see us, we hope that they like us enough to come back. Pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty
give
easy.
it up.
Really.
You make it look really easy, too.
It's pretty easy.
I disagree, because it can be frightening for a lot of people. Have you, I don't know that I've asked you this in the years that I've talked to you, where did you get this gregarious personality? Your mom, your dad, your siblings, what?
Gregarious.
Well, oh.
Gregarious.
Outgoing. Outgoing.
Is that just just wide open?
Outgoing.
Kinda? I've heard the word.
Outgoing.
Outgoing.
Yes. Where did you?
I think I was born with it. I really do. I wasn't always the class clown, but I was involved in a lot of stuff, just goofing around.
Like what? They're laughing. Like,
no, nothing.
Were you
don't know. It's terrible. You think Jelly Roll's got a bad reputation?
Are your
We
siblings?
were talking about Jelly Roll. What were you saying?
I'm not going to say it. There's a microphone on, and I'm not going to say it.
I like Jelly Roll. He
I do
does
too.
scare me, though. He scares me.
It's unexpected what comes out of his mouth, so you just have to go with him on that journey, for his vocals and the topics.
Yeah. He does a good job.
He does a great job. I just don't know him personally.
I don't either. He scares me.
He can snap me in half with one leg.
Me too. Just when you see him, the tattoos are they're good. I don't do them, but there's a lot of people do, and that's cool. But when they get up high on the neck and on the face, it's just like
Lord.
I just go.
Me too.
I just go the other way. They
Me
come
too.
and I walk the other way.
I saw you
We're
do
old
something.
people. Oh, they got our drinks. Thank you so much.
Speaking of drinks, this sweet man was coming down your aisle to get in his seat last night, and you were right. Did anybody else see this? And he had his drinks in his hand, and you were like, Billy's got. You took his glass and you drank his glass. You drank out of his glass. That was hysterical.
It surprises you, doesn't it?
It does.
We and there's some people in here probably can attest to it. We eat everything that people bring us. If you ever want to kill us in my band, just bring us something to eat, because we're going to eat it. It's not other artists go, "You eat that? I can't believe you eat that."
Why
And I say, "Why not?" I mean,
exactly. People do pour their heart and soul into stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the way. Look, you got a drink.
Oh, what it was for me. Hey, buddy, that's my pig friend.
Oh, big friend. have a pig friend.
Let me see what this is.
I'd like to have a pig friend. Mister.
He's over there. Pig man.
Mister.
Just call him Pig man.
Pig. No, I'm teasing.
That's good, though. I'm not a big drinker. I drink
Me neither.
foo-foo stuff.
You drink foo-foo drinks.
So
that's
I drink,
it.
and not to dog any girls here, but I drink what I call girl drinks.
Nothing wrong with that.
No,
You're about
Works
the
for me.
most secure in your masculinity of any man.
oh, so secure you can't believe it.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I've been gregarious all my life.
Oh, Lord.
Here's mud in your eye.
My mother called me I called my mother today. I think it was today. And she said, well, what are you doing? What are you doing tomorrow? And I said, well, I get to sit down with Neal McCoy and blah, blah, blah. I went on my list and she goes, well, does that make you nervous? Have you prepared? And I'm like, Mother, you just go with what is going. If the pig man comes in, the pigs start swimming, tropical drinks start flying around, Neal start dancing on the stage and drinking out of people's glasses, you go with it. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I'm serious about that. A lot of people bring us stuff, and we eat most of it. And this is just absolutely terrible. But if you've done a show and it's late at night and you haven't eaten much all day, it's not ever really terrible. It's all edible. So we eat it and lay down. It's the best time. Right after you eat a bunch, go to sleep.
That's great. I would do, if I were on your level, I would do the same thing because I have never turned down a food part, a cookie or a piece of cake or a pie or anything. So
we just aren't scared that somebody's trying to get to us. But somebody may. I know it's a whole nother world now than it was 40-some years ago when I got in the business. So probably we should be a little more cautious about something. But we're not. We should be.
I like it. One thing that I want to take down a serious road, we're talking food and we're talking so much fun, and Pig Man, are you still having fun out there? This man has given more time to serve our nation. You need me to hit you on the back?
I'm good. I just wondered what it'd feel like if somebody did poison you.
Oh, Lord help me. Seriously now, he has spent so many years and so many months and gone overseas so many times for our military. Is there a story, can you recount, through all the years, one moment from all the countries that you visited that just made you cry, you'll never walk away the same person?
There's quite a few of those, especially I've been to Iraq 7 times, Afghanistan a few times, Pakistan, and when you're over there, and you're there for them, it should have nothing to do with you. You shouldn't take cameras. You shouldn't try to gain exposure, gain notoriety from going over there and seeing them. That's so when I go with Wayne Newton and other folks, we don't bring cameras. We go over and then we come back and nobody knows. And so it's just such great moments because there are so many people that have either served or are currently serving or know someone that has and is in the service, and so many things that can go wrong. Most likely, hopefully nothing will go wrong, but when you're out there in their element, it is you can't even, sometimes you don't even have a chance to sing. You really truly just go shake hands or hug their necks and just tell them how much we appreciate them, how much we love them. But there's a few great stories. One of the greatest from my end is we flew into Kandahar Airport, which was in Afghanistan. The towers fell in September. The troops, the Marines, went over early November and invaded all of Afghanistan. We flew into Afghanistan at Christmas time, and there were troops there that had been there 45 days, no showers, no nothing. So we landed. It was me and Wayne Newton and Drew Carey. I know, crazy, and a couple of Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. So if the guys didn't like us, but they could look at them, and it happened quite a few times. But we landed about 3:00 in the morning in a 117, I think is what we were in, or C-17. I can't remember exactly. 130, maybe 140.
131.
But we landed, and it was so dark. I sat up in the cockpit as we landed, and the whole screen, this is crazy, turned into night vision. Just the screen of the vehicle we were in. And I couldn't believe what I was looking at. We landed with no lights on. We had no lights. We had some infrared lights on the inside. So when we landed, they turned on the infrared lights. They opened the door. These troops get us, and you could just hear vehicles right outside the airplane running, but you can't see anything. It's just pitch black, or complete blackness. And so we get in there. They move us around, maneuver us around until we get to the Kandahar airport, where we had just taken over. We dropped bomb, took over the airport. So we get there, they get us out. I get in a vehicle, a couple of Humvees. They run us, we get there. Wayne, and we brought 3 band members of Wayne's. Wayne has a acoustic guitar player, a keyboard player that playing just a battery-operated little Casio kind of thing, and then a drummer that just kind of, snaps his fingers. So that's what we had. We walk in this airport, and these young kids are in there, and they're all Indian style, I guess. And they've got their guns butted up, and we're on a concrete floor, not a stage, and we're just from me to you, to them, And so we're here, and they're there, and they've taken off their goggles or pulled them down, and they've been there 45 days without any bath or anything, and they're filthy, and they're just sitting there looking at us, and so Wayne sang a couple songs, I sang a couple songs, and then Drew Carey started to get up and tell a couple of jokes, and a 4-star general tapped me on the shoulder, retired, and said, "We have to leave right now." So we crawled out through broken windows that they had just had sheets over. When we got in there, they cranked the generator, had strung about 4 or 5 light bulbs to where we could see each other. And we did that, so we jumped out. It was the most wildest thing I've ever been part of. And so we get out, and then I'm getting to the moment. This young troop gets me. I step outside, and this young troop grabs me by the arm. He said, "Mr. McCoy," he said, "I'm from Tyler, Texas, which is right next door, really, to Longview." And he said, "I'll get you to your plane." So on the comedic side, when we got out the first time, they gave us one of those little brake sticks, that provide a little bit of light. Well, they gave me one. So I'm walking. It's black, and he's just got me by the arm. So I'm just holding on to him, almost like, I can't see it all. He had on night vision, and I said, "Young man, I've got a little glow stick here." He said, "Yes, sir. That makes a good target." I said, "Oh, shit." So I not only stuck it in my pocket. But we got, and he said, Wayne Newton, everywhere he went, he would pass it. And he's been doing shows for troops since Vietnam. He went over there with Bob Hope at early age, and he always passed out these little cards and said, "If you'll take one, everybody get one of these. Give us your phone number, write your phone number, and a short message that you want to." These are the emotional parts, and a short message you want to send to your parents. And he said, "I will call them when I get back to the United States of America." And it was the greatest thing he did. Was this kid grabbed me, and he said, he had written out, he said, "I'm glad I got a chance to talk to you." He said, "I wrote this," and he said, and I know my parents love Wayne Newton, but my mom would love to hear from you. It would mean, so when I got home, we were over at my mother-in-law's house, and I told my wife, I said, "I'm going to run out there and call this guy's mom." And I said, "Miss So-and-so," I said, "Your son wanted me to let you know." I just saw him, and he said that he loves you and your dad for everything he told me, and to know that he's safe, and just tell him I love him. And so I wrote her, I said, "He just wants you to know that he loves you and appreciates you, and don't worry about him." And she started crying. I said, "Oh, shit, quit crying." But it's just those moments, and you can feel when somebody shakes your hand or somebody hugs your neck. You can feel something when you're supposed to feel more than just a handshake or a hug. It just kind of transfers to you. I know it sounds goofy, but in those situations, they would do it all the time. They just made you feel so special, and it was all about the troops. Again, it wasn't about somebody knowing that we were even doing, because we went and nobody even knew we went. Nobody. A lot of people just
safety too, for your safety. But you're
right.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
When you give, when you give in silence, and you give without a spotlight on, and you just continue to give. If they called you tomorrow, you would go again.
I would. Except assume. All the young troops have no idea who I am, so I quit going.
I think
over there, you come out and they go, "Where's Wayne?" Sit down and shut up. But there's just great emotional moments, and it's ones you can't even explain, because they come to you so fast, and It's just, it's unbelievable. And people ask sometimes, "What's your favorite place to play?" And I tell them, any place we get to go entertain our troops, whether that's in the United States or overseas.
This is, yeah.
Wow, thank you.
What I'm about to tell is not about me necessarily, but it's just to dovetail what you said. There have been 5 times in my life that I've gotten to go with the Department of Defense with Miss Americas. I was Miss Mississippi 100 years ago. I was 4.
Miss Junior Miss.
Yeah, it was baby
Miss.
Mississippi. And we went, the last time I was over there, we went to Iraq and we stayed in one of Saddam's palaces. And they told us that we would not be leaving the green zone. But that day, they changed the plan for us to get to the U.S. Embassy. We had to leave the green zone. We were going to helicopter over, but we had to leave the green zone. And there were people in our group that said, I can't do it. I told my wife, I told my spouse that I'll never leave the safety of the confines of the green zone. Well, I went into the bathroom, plopped the toilet seat down on the gold toilet, sat on top of that toilet, and bawled like a baby because I was scared and I needed to make a decision. Are you going to go, Nan, in town and ride through Baghdad, which they do a jamming device car in front of you, a jamming truck behind you, and then their beefy, in all their Kevlar driving you to this place.
Yeah, and usually a big old 50 caliber gun up in the top of them, so they mean it.
I was shaking so badly, and I sat there, Neal, and I prayed. I was like, Lord, give me strength. I had just come out of chemotherapy. Oh, wow. I still had a little bit of hair coming on my head, but it had been about 9 or 10 months after that. And I sat there, and I just prayed to the Lord, and I was like, okay, he's not going to drop me. I'm going in. So we get outside, and this captain puts on my stuff, and I'm standing there, and tears are coming down my face because I'm scared. And he's this close to me, and he goes, You're doing something very brave. And he was tightening me up, and I was like, thank you, sir. I said, I'm not crying because I'm just crying because I'm just a civilian. I'm not trained like you are. I'm just scared. And I said, and I just got over chemotherapy, and I'm just not, and he looked at me, Neal, and he said, you had cancer? And I'm standing there crying. I'm like, yeah. And he goes, then this is going to be a piece of cake.
Makes you relax pretty quick.
And I didn't mean to take up your time.
Oh,
but
no, I'm done. Shit. Matter of fact, thank you.
Leave your drink. Leave your drink.
Gregarious.
I want to talk the East Texas Angel Network, because not only do you give to our troops, you give to your community. How has it been this year? What have the donations been like? What's some highlights that you can share?
Well, we just had our 29th year, so our 30th year is coming up. My wife started a foundation. I've started a foundation in Northeast Texas to help children with life-threatening, life-challenging illnesses. Some people in the room come and support that. But this past year, we always have guests. And when I started it, we were still in the 90s, so we were still having hit records. And so when I asked people, other artists, to come do something, they would usually come a little quicker. When you don't have any hits, it's like, yeah, no, man, let me show you. I'll schedule. I'll get back with you. But you do it because what we usually do in the business is they'll come do something for you, and then you reciprocate. You go do something for them, and that's how you. But so we just had our 29th year, and Vince Gill came this year. Wow. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
After 8 years, I'd been calling him every year.
Have you?
And he told me probably 4 or 5 years ago. He said, Neal, I'm traveling with a bunch of older men because he's an Eagle. He works for the Eagles now.
He plays with the Eagles as the Eagles.
He's a lead singer. Yeah. So when he called me, I texted him in January. He called me in March. He said, Neal, I can make it. We haven't set a schedule yet, but we're going to try and get that. So he came. But it helps children with life-threatening and life-challenging illnesses. Ms. Bowman back there is giving us financially and helped our foundation tremendously. And it's something that we're proud of. And in 20 years, or 29 years, oh my God, it's getting longer as I sit here. We have raised over $12 million. And that helps kids in Northeast Texas. And so our belief is that if you're doing something and if somebody gets ill in your family or somebody loses a family member or something happens and a child gets very sick, then that's when y'all start getting together, you and your community, and start trying to raise money for things. My wife and I did that 30 years ago, and it come to find out we helped them raise a lot of money, but when the child got better, we went to the same family, said, not us, but somebody else said, could we get some of that money back? We have another sick child. We'd like to help them. And they just kind of blew us off. So that's when Melinda and I said, well, we'll just put money into a foundation. We'll raise money, put a foundation, and build a foundation. So when the child needs it, it'll already be there. And that's what, and it's worked tremendously with God's help and a lot of great people like this. And I know y'all help in your own communities, and you should. There are a lot of people that need help in every way, any way that you can think of. Somebody needs a little help. So.
What one story from that situation that you could share that you knew our foundation truly helped this person? Do you have a personal story from someone sharing that?
The best ones for me, because you can see it. Some of the children we lose, because some of them are so sick and you're trying to help them, but they just don't make it. So those are always tough. The biggest compliment I ever got, this is probably, 5-10 years ago, I was filling my truck at the gas station, and an elderly man, because at that time I wasn't an elderly man. I'm a medium man, middle-aged.
Wise.
But a man even older than me. Can you believe that?
There you go.
He was filling up his car next to it, and he walked over and shook my hand. He said, Neal, I want to thank you. He said, you've helped my grandson and his wife because they have a very sick child. And he said, I just wanted to thank you, let you know that people don't overlook that kind of stuff. And so, because it's tougher for the men. It's tough for a man to ask for help in the first place because we're the breadwinners. And so when another man comes to you, it just kind of, you just go, yes. So I just said, you're welcome. I'm glad it's working out. And I told him, I said, I appreciate you coming up to him and just telling me that. But there could have been a lot more emotional story, and there have been, but that just lets a guy know that if you're struggling for help and trying to do something, it's okay if somebody wants to help you, it's okay to say, help me. Shit, hey, tough out here.
It is.
And so we do.
At what point in your career did this become, or has it always been so important to you, this I've got to give back? Was there an aha moment, or was this just kind of ingrained in your DNA?
Probably a combination.
Yeah.
Of course, if you're a decent person, you always want to help if you can. Right. And that's from the smallest things to the biggest things. So I always tried to help when I could, in my reading glasses, in case I ever needed. Yeah. Oh, now no wonder it didn't work.
Oh.
Gregarious.
Dang it. I'm never going to live that down.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I chose a proper word that
me too. It worked great.
Sometimes you slaughter the English language. That's so funny. That's great. You're right. And you said about if you're a decent person, you always want to give back.
You should, yeah.
But when you're an entertainer, it's like you said, you come play my show and I'll give you your time back because your time is valuable.
It is, yeah.
And when people...
Very valuable. A lot more valuable than I'm getting, I can tell you. I'm worth a lot more than what they're paying me, I can promise.
No. You could just always ask to keep the sweatshirt.
That's right, yeah. All I want to do is keep one shirt. I couldn't even... Oh, my gosh.
So let's talk new music. When can your fans hear some new music from you, sir?
Yeah, I put out I didn't know, I'm so far behind on the digital thing. Where you put it out digitally and people can stream it on your favorite streaming service or they can download it on iTunes or one of those things. So I was so lost. So I haven't put out really any music in quite a while because I just wasn't sure how to do it. I was old school where you always went through country music radio. Anything you did always went through country music radio. And to an extent, it still does. They are the gatekeepers usually of country music stars, although some of these younger kids are starting to, a la Kane Brown or Taylor Swift or some of these, they're being able to crack that thing to where they're not having to go through all the radio stations all the time. This social network, they're being hugely successful. But as a rule, country radio is not going to play you near as much. But then again, if you get so big, they don't even have to play you. You can outgrow them, and you almost told so they can. Kane Brown, we played Las Vegas 15 years ago, and the guy that booked me said, Neal, you ever heard of Kane Brown? I said, no, sir, I haven't yet. And he said, he goes on his Facebook page because he has such a huge following. He said, and he'll book 3,500 or 4,000 seat places to play, and he'll go and it'll be sold out. And I said, well, the reason I haven't heard of him because he's not on country radio. He said, no, he's doing it, so on the networks and stuff. And I said, then he won't be as big as he can get until he goes through radio. So, and I'll be dang if a couple of months after that, somebody had to sign him to a record deal, a major record label, and then he had to get management out of Nashville, Tennessee. And he's a huge star, but they still are the gatekeepers. It is such a close-knit community. To be a country music singer and have success, you have to go through country music radio, and it's good and bad. They're both sides. Luckily, I had enough energy to play that whole kind of game that it is for quite a while. We were successful and had some hits, but it's a hard thing, and even it's a hard business. This business is hard. You've got kinfolks, you've got nephews, nieces. Maybe you wanted to be in the business. Well, when you commit, you have got to commit, and it's going to take time away from your families and away from your normality. You're going to be on the road a lot to where you'll question yourself. Am I the selfish one that I am trying to chase this while I've got a wife at home that's raising 2 kids and missing birthdays and missing anniversaries? So you have to weigh that against everything. And most of you are decent enough people that you're going to say, yes, I ain't doing that. And I wasn't decent enough. I just kept chasing it. So when I got to a point, and very fortunately, I have a wife that put up with it because it is a tough thing, that being gone and raising kids. So when I got there, then we started being successful. Then I try to let all the other kids know that are in the business. I said, I know you want to sing and you're a good singer, good songwriter, but depending on where you want to go, slow down, think about what you want to do, and then think about what it's going to do to your boyfriend or girlfriend or your family. My wife and I made a conscious decision. We never moved to Nashville. And 95% of the people that are successful in country music radio moved to Nashville so they could get in, be seen, all that. I didn't do that. I luckily had Charlie Pride that he got me started, kind of let me hone my skills out here. And then we ended up signing a record deal in 91. And through that, we were able to have, as I say, I've been able to have my cake and eat it too. I was able to have a career and yet still keep a family together. So we decided at the start, we can either move to Nashville, just my wife and I, before we had kids. We can move to Nashville and try and chase this thing and take a risk on our marriage working and a risk on our kids getting involved once we have them. Or I could take a better shot at my career and lose a marriage. Or I can stay here and can continue to raise a family and then take a risk on my career. And I am fortunate enough. I'm certainly not as big as some of the acts you'll have on here this week or the ones that you're hearing on radio and stuff, but I am in such a great spot because now I have people that like us, people that come to concerts, and I still have a family to go home to, and I got grandkids, and we just made a decision, and it worked. It all worked like it's supposed to. There's still work involved, but it can be done. It's crazy. So we're very fortunate, very lucky.
In all my years of talking to stars, I've never heard someone say that, Neal. Never heard someone say, I made that conscious choice. I wanted to go do my thing my own way. Because you still play how many dates a year?
Oh, we do 100 shows every year. I know, it's ridiculous because just doing 100 shows will put you on the road about 180 to 200 days a year.
Yeah, to
going
get there
to and
back.
from.
Yeah.
So we're still giving up a lot.
Yeah,
but,
you are.
But kids and everybody they just understood, and they knew the kind of guy I was. So if me and my wife and our 2 kids went out to eat, when I got stopped, they knew I was going to stop and take time and take pictures and sign autographs. So they would just go ahead and order. If we were shopping, they would just they'd go shop because they well, that's Dad. He's not gonna be the guy to say, yeah, not right now, man. And I appreciate the artists that can do that having it within them to say, if you don't mind, I'm with my family, because I have never done that. And it's not, I wish I could, because sometimes I wish I was more of a jerk at times, because
Glad you aren't.
But I'm not. But look, these people have come and they've come to hear us talk, and that's what it's all about. When I used to do all those things and be out there and beat myself to death, I would go to the head of the record label before we were having any hits, and I would say, I'm doing everything I know. We're doing everything. And he said, and you're doing everything right. He said, it's just a radio thing. They haven't quite got their arms around you. But he said, trust me, in the game of life, you're doing the right thing.
Yes,
and
you are.
and now at 65 with grandkids and kids doing their own thing, it is exactly right. Everything has worked out for us as good as it could possibly have worked out. I've never said that, but it has. I mean,
Yay.
we get people to come see us and be goofy. And
You know what I call that? I call that a blessing. I call that a blessing. When you're good to people, I'm going to have a church here for a minute, but when you're good to people, when you're good to your family, your family's here, they're fabulous people, but when you take care of people and your fans and you shut your eyes at night, you don't want to have regrets about what you've said to somebody or what you've done that day. You want to feel good in your own skin, and you're that kind of person to me. I mean, I know I don't live by you, and I don't hang out with you all the time, but you're kind of that person.
you better be glad. And I'm glad you're not interviewing my wife either. That's what y'all do. Interview the spouse
we
maybe
can get her
sometime.
up here.
That's what you got to get.
Where you at?
You start interviewing the spouses of these artists.
Well, I guess we could do that,
You
right?
should do that, but not now. You do that on the next cruise if we're not here.
And you're not 65.
Oh, I wish I wasn't.
Good grief.
I know. I got Medicare. There's some people in here old enough to get Medicare. Hey, this
You are
whole
not
Medicare
60.
thing, I'd heard about it all my life. Where they're running out. They're going to run out. They're going to run out by the time you can get to it anyway. And they hadn't run out yet, but it's not the save all that
No.
everybody. Oh my gosh.
No.
Oh, time you buy supplement A and B and C and D. If you had good insurance and you're about Medicare age, just stay on your own insurance. I mean, they ain't done nothing for me yet. Because it hasn't been on long, but I'm going in. I'm going to start getting everything done.
All right.
Yeah, because they're going to pay for it.
Like what? Like everything done?
I made up my mind I'm going to do 2 colonoscopies a week. Everybody's so scared of them.
Oh, that's awful.
Don't be scared.
Oh, it's
Enjoy
terrible.
the moment.
No. No.
I don't know. I'm going to have something done just so somebody else can pay for it other than me for a change. Y'all are. Y'all paying for it. Some of y'all will pay for it. We help pay for Neal's colonoscopy.
Yeah, when they leave the theater, I can see it. Well, they talked about this, and they talked about that, and they talked about colonoscopies and gregariousness.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a word? If I put an "this" at the end of it? Yeah, that's
I'll
a word.
look.
No, don't. Lord,
She's
Lord.
smart. That girl that lives in that phone knows a lot of... That's who I should have married, that girl.
Oh, stop it. Hey, I need somebody to keep me honest. What's the time? 5:45.
5:45?
5:45.
5:45. I don't know how I work all day.
Do-do-do.
Ba-boom.
Bum,
When
bum,
will I learn? The memories get in the way.
I don't even know that song. Oh, that's...
I took my time. I gotta get away, so I know where to go. We'll take it slow, right? We bailed at the same time. You were supposed to come in with the
I
lyric.
don't know the lyrics. What was that song?
I can't get.
Who sang that?
Don't know how I work all day. When will I learn? The memories get in the way. Gotta get away, so I know where to go. We'll take it slow. Guess I'll leave it alone.
I still don't know the title. What? That's the Spinners? Wow.
What's the name of it?
Games people play.
Yes.
That's it. Okay.
No.
Yeah. Games. Gotta get away. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Oh, never mind.
Okay.
We digress.
Back
okay.
to real people.
We're going to do a few minutes. Would you take a few questions? Do you mind? Okay.
Shoot you.
All right.
That
Like
guy's
I
fast right there.
Where I can't see it. Right there.
Right
Yes,
here.
sir. Go ahead.
First of all, congratulations on 8 years.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Yes, sir. You're welcome.
What's one of your favorite memories from doing the
Oh, those are great. You know, and that show's been around. He's talking about the Country Family Reunion. A lot of y'all watch where they bring in a bunch of old people and we all sit around and talk about how we were young. And I thought that's what it was. I said, oh my gosh, I hope they never invite me to do that. Now I've been doing it about 10, 15 years now. But it's just a lot of fun. I love hearing the stories from the people that's in the same kind of business that we are. There's just some great stories out there, and it's just fun. We'll get up and sing. Everybody gets up and sings one, and it's just kind of a passing around like a campfire or something. So I love the thing.
I think this man over here was next. Yes, sir.
Oh my gosh, what's your craziest prank
Good.
you ever pulled on another performer? You know, as goofy as I am, I get such anxiety when I think somebody's fixing to try and prank me. I mean, it just ruins my whole day. So I try not to prank anybody else to keep from doing that. Brian White and I were on tour together for a little while, and I got him one night. He was on stage, and I think he was maybe in one of his, if you don't know him, he's a great, great country singer. He's a big star back in our day. Yeah, cute kid, too. And he was doing some ballad thing, and we put on some golf clothes and golf bags and golf clubs. And when he was right in the middle of one of his ballads, we just threw a golf ball out from the side of the stage.
Okay.
And all walked out there and said, "Excuse me, sir, you mind if we play through here?" And so we walked about 3 or 4, just walked right in front of him, and he was young, just like.
He was mad.
Yeah, he was mad and confused, but he got me back. About 2 nights later, we played at a high school performing arts center or something, and I was on stage singing, and I just hear this. He's a great drummer. He went and got the drum corps of the local high school. And so in the middle of a song, I just hit, and I'm looking over here, and here he comes. Here comes a band just playing a whole drum beat all the way through, and Brian's got his hat pulled down right about there, and he's right up on the front. And so he comes by me. I looked at him. I said, "Brian White." He just walked off, but he got me good. But nothing ever too bad.
The whole drum corps showed up.
Yeah, and I guess he practiced them that afternoon.
That was a good prank. Maybe
too much work.
Maybe a couple more. Ma'am, you were, I think, and then I'm going to come over there. Yes, ma'am.
Hey. This is question time. Sit down. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, that is so sweet. She's talking about a festival that took place in Morristown, Ohio, and it was a huge, huge festival. Jamboree in the Hills is what it's called, and they shut down. Live Nation bought them over. Oh, that was interesting, and it didn't work. So and they're out of business now. But I played there before they closed. I'd been there 22 years in a row at this festival. So the whole adage of this thing, when you hire somebody at your fair or somebody once a year and you have them, then automatically they think, okay, well, maybe we'll invite him back 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. And I try and tell people all the time, I say, you can invite us back next year. You will not see the same show. It's not, and if you have people that like us, know that you're inviting back somebody that like us. If you're not inviting us back, you're taking a risk. Because some of these people. Name some of them we were talking about.
I will not. But seriously, to tag on that, and y'all are going to have to shut me off, Les, because I'll just sit here and talk with Neal all night. But, I mean, doing this cruise, how many years have you done this cruise?
I don't know. I'd done a whole bunch of cruises before I got on this one. And now I think we've done 4 or 5, I would think.
And you're back for next year as well.
We are. We're back, yeah, next year.
But see, that's...
Yes.
Not everybody...
See, that's proof right there.
That's proof. I agree.
Yeah.
Don't y'all agree? Let's take one more question. And I think yes, please, right here.
Oh.
Right there. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we are losing our memory. Oh, my gosh. If I could only remember one song, I tell you one of my favorite songs, and is "My Way" by Frank Sinatra, because I think it just engulfs. And now the end is near, and so I face my final curtain, my friend. I'll say it clear and state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I traveled each and every highway, oh, but more, much more than this, I did it my way. Yeah. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, and my wife knows that, so if I die,
Just play that.
or when I die, there's not an if,
Yeah.
I'm going to die.
Let's just hope it's not anytime soon.
I just think it's the perfect song for somebody that didn't always play by all the rules and just kind of did stuff their own way.
Yeah, I think you're that. And I think
Thank
we
you.
love you for that. Have y'all had a
I
good time
appreciate it.
hanging out with Neal? There's no better song to end the time with Neal than "I Did It My Way," because he's breaking rules that now,
For what is a man? What has
I'm
he
talking,
got?
I'm talking.
If not himself,
I'm
then
trying
he
to
has
talk.
not.
No, I'm totally kidding. No, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank y'all. Hey, and if you see us around the boat, if you see me and want to take a picture or want an autograph, I'd love to. If I'm trying to scoot somewhere, then I'll just say, yeah, can we let's do it right quick. And it's not trying to be rude. It's just sometimes you got to get somewhere.
Yeah,
And I know y'all are very good. You truly understand, because a lot of you have been on these cruises, you've been around artists, so you get it, that sometimes you do got to move on. Some of the younger people, they don't know. You old people got it figured out. I appreciate you.
We appreciate Neal McCoy, don't we, everybody? We love you.
Thank you.